And the thing that you guys are not doing is that you are not focusing on the most important thing an ADC needs to do. The most important thing an ADC needs to do is to gather resources. Okay, if you clicked on this video, then you are here to learn how to carry with Ezreal in Low Elo. And this is the game we'll be using. I played this game in Bronze. And to show you guys that I'm not a complete fraud, I have a game where I played Ezreal in Grandmaster, and clearly I know something, at least, of carrying with Ezreal. At least I can help you guys in Low Elo. This guide is targeted towards complete beginners all the way to intermediate players, but that doesn't mean that advanced players won't learn anything. I promise you, you will learn something of value if you watch the complete video. Anyways, the format of the video is going to be, we are going to talk about the runes and the build setup. And we're going to explain why we take these runes, why we take these items. And then we're going to go into the practice tool and show you guys the different mechanics you need to practice for Ezreal. And then I'm going to actually show you a full game to show you exactly what you need to do to carry in Low Elo. And it's actually simpler than you think, I promise you. Let's get started. First, we're going to go over the runes. I have an Ezreal page up for you guys. Since we're playing in Low Elo, I recommend you take PTA or Conquer. They are very easy to use. PTA, you hit someone 3 times. You do bonus damage until you leave combat, and also does a small amount of flat damage. And then Conquer, every time you hit something with an auto attack or abilities, you gain stacks of adaptive force. Personally, I would use PTA, but if you are an advanced Ezreal player, currently the meta is Lethal Temple. Also, if you ever have questions about builds, because the builds and runes got outdated, but you still want to learn from the gameplay side of things, go to u.gg or your favorite website, you click on pro builds, and you just copy what the pros are doing, okay? Next, in the second tree, in the second line in the prison tree, we're going to take Presence of Mind because Ezreal needs a ton of mana. So in the laning phase, when you hit them with Q, W, E, or any ability, you get some mana back. Next is Legend Haste. We definitely want to take Legend Haste over the other runes because Ezreal needs a bunch of ability haste, which is basically cooldown, for his abilities, so he can have them as often as possible. You can take Bloodline too, but I think most people are taking Haste right now. And then Cut Down is the best rune in the last slot. Generally speaking, the best rune in the last precision, the 4th row here, because it's the most consistent. You deal more damage to champions who have more than 60% health. Ku is kind of garbage unless you're playing something like Jhin. And then Last Stand is not something we take unless we're playing something like Kog'Maw. Next, in the secondary runes, we're going to go Inspiration. The important rune to note here is Jack of all trades. So Jack of all trades gives you adaptive force at 5 and 10 stacks. Really, we're playing for the 5 stacks on first base. What that means is on first base, you always want to buy a tier, so you can start stacking your mana immune. We'll get to that later. And then you can buy a component of Sheen or a dagger, so the glowing mode. That shit is fucking terrible, but it activates Jack of all trades for Ezreal because you get 5 different stats with the glowing mode and a tier, or you can get a dagger, okay? So you want to take Jack of all trades, and then for your second inspiration rune, it's usually biscuits. In case something goes wrong in lane, you can chug some extra biscuits to stay healthy in lane. Laning is very important in this season. It is basically half the game, sets the tone for the mid game. Or you can take your free boots. I think free boots is more value, but more risky because if something goes wrong in lane, you're going to have a problem. Plus, if you get free boots, you aren't able to actually buy your own boots. So if you base with, like, let's say, I don't know, 700, you can't buy a tier in boots. So just keep that in mind. But I do like free boots if you can get away with it. And then for runes, we're going to take the typical attack speed, lets you last hit and do, damage. And then AD lets you last hit and do damage. And then we take the flat health for the laning phase. You can try and take scaling health. Scaling health is better out of lane, but like we said, laning is super important. Now, let's get into the build. Oh, and for summoners, you're always going to want to take Barrier unless you're playing against a mage bot. And when you play against a mage bot like Ziggs, Victor, Hui, Lux, whatever, you take TP to match their TP. Okay, so let's talk build. So first thing you need to know about Ezreal is, when is Ezreal strong? Okay, Ezreal is strong at the 2-item mark. He is a mid-game champion. Mid-game champion is champions that are strong right outside of the laning phase. So why is he strong at 2 items? Well, his 2 items are going to be Trinity and Manamune. Okay, And with this combination of items, each one of your abilities when Mana Immune is stacked will hit like a truck. Every single one of these can proc Mana Immune. And so when you are hitting a ranged carry champion, usually speaking, or like an assassin or any squishy champion, you do a ton of damage in the mid game, assuming you are on curve or ahead of curve. On curve or ahead of curve means you have the right amount of the average amount of income you should be having at that given time, and if you're like behind curve, you're like behind, you kind of broke. Okay, let me turn off the minion spawn here real quick. Okay, so basically the order of operations is going to be you start with the Doran's Blade with the pot. And on first base, you're going to want to have a tier plus your Trinity components, okay? So the main thing we said for the components is that this glowing mote gives you Jack of all trades. Let me see if I can show you. Yep, it gives you Jack of all trades. You have 5 different stats. So you get 10 adaptive force. This is what you're aiming for. But if you don't have glowing mote, you can do the dagger. Right, the dagger is fine too, but it doesn't build into Sheen. Sheen is a very effective, actually the reason why, very effective item. The reason why we buy Trinity really is because after you use an ability, your next attack deals bonus physical damage. This is based off your base AD, I believe. Yeah, 100% of your base AD. And this activates every 1.5 seconds. And of course, Ezreal has 4 active abilities. You're going to be using this Sheen passive on cooldown. Okay? So, order of operations, ideally, we get the Sheen here. And then Phage or the Heartbound Axe. I like Phage because it makes you tankier and it gives you move speed. Move speed allows you to make plays. And then go the Axe, and then you finish with the Trinity. And then after you finish the Trinity, then you build the Mana Immune. Side note, it is very important to not make as many mistakes in the early game, because you need to get that tier ASAP, and then you need to stack that tier. So every time you die, you actually are not stacking this tier. And I would recommend that when you do have this tier, you want to queue minions or queue your opponents to stack it. You get stacks by landing abilities, and you need 360 stacks for this to be upgraded, this Mana Immune item to be upgraded. And that is when you are strong, okay? Mana Immune plus Trinity, okay? And then for shoes, you want to buy the Lucidity boots. You can buy something like Boots of Swiftness, or maybe even like Merc Treads or Ninja Tabbies. But the default is Lucidity boots because they give you ability haste, and the summoner spell haste is pretty good with your barrier and your flash. Okay, next, your next item is almost always going to be Shojin. Shojin gives you more survivability, gives you more damage, and it gives you the important ability haste that you need to chain your abilities every time you hit Q. Of course, if you didn't know, we'll get to the abilities later, but hitting Q is very important in this build, and having Spear of Shojin allows you to have more ability haste, which is cooldown reduction, which allows you to get more Qs. Okay, so Shojin, very important. After Shojin, we are buying a penetration item. Now, we need this grudge item to kill the front line, because up until this point, you are an absolute demon at threatening the back line, but you don't do damage to the front line. How do we fix that? Grudge gives you 30% armor pen, gives you more ability haste, which is, exactly what we're looking for in an Ezreal build. And if you hit someone with an ability, when they're below half health, you actually slow them. And you can imagine if someone's below half health and you slow them with any of these abilities, you can actually chain the other abilities, because you have all skill shots, into one another. So like you can spam Q on the same guy over and over again. He's just slowed for 30% of his move speed. He can't do anything if he has no movement, right? So it's always gonna be a grudge. There are ideas of like some lower doms, but I don't think it's lower doms. And then after that, you actually save your last slot for something situational. Oftentimes, it's almost always going to be a BT, because lifesteal in the late game is very important, especially when you're facing off carries. They hit you, they poke you. You can actually get that health back with a fat Q hit with auto attacks, right? Or you can just simply lifesteal off minions or jungle camps or the epic objectives like Baron and Atakan or whatever. I mean, Atakan will be dead by the time you're BT, but you get the point, okay? But if it's not BT, you can actually go Maul. And Maul is for the AP assassin type champions, maybe like Diana, maybe like Vex. I mean, maybe if there's a problem, you buy a Maul. And then other options can be also be GA if you're not the primary carry, or you're trying to you have flash up and you try to make a play where you E in Q, get your E back up, you have flash up, you flash out of GA, and then you E, do some crazy play. Just side note, like GA plus flash is an amazing play. I would consider GA if I had flash, but if I don't have flash, then less likely to consider GA. Basically, if you know what I'm talking about, it's you die, the enemy team sits on your body while your team is fighting them, and then you flash immediately, confusing the enemy team, getting an advantage, right? But if it's not GA, then it's almost always going to be this QSS item as well if they have some kind of suppression, Skarner, Malzahar, whatever. Okay, so that's the build. Okay, this is the build. Now, let us go through Ezreal's abilities because this part is important for learning how to play Ezreal. Now, I'm going to assume that you guys are complete beginners at Ezreal, but I will also throw in all the knowledge that I have gathered throughout my years of playing Ezreal. I actually peaked rank 20 in season 6 or something, I can't remember, playing only Ezreal. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna look at is well, let's talk about your passive. So every time you hit an ability, you get 10% attack speed for 6 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. This stacks up pretty quickly in team fights, especially if you hit like 5 people with ulti, or you're spamming Q and you're poking, or in laning phase, you actually Q minions, Q enemy champion, making them flinch, but you actually hit a minion. This gives you attack speed so you can push faster. Kind of like more advanced ideas. You guys don't need to know this if you're low elo. Anyone from bronze to like platinum, ignore what I just said, but that is good to know. Okay, it's good to know. Q to get attack speed so you can push faster. Anyways, Ezreal's Q is his bread and butter. It will do most of your damage. It's what most people think of when they see Ezreal, and you know it has a pretty long range, but it is very easy to miss. Okay, so it also procs a PTA stack if you didn't know. Conquer and Lethal Tempo procs all of that stuff. So my main tip for hitting more Qs is to not press Q. Now let me explain. Anytime a champion gets within range of your Q, most Ezreal players just immediately start queuing as fast as they can, but you'll notice that your Q actually has a long cooldown. 3 seconds does not seem like a long time, but if this is all your damage, it is actually a bit amount of time. And also, means you miss a lot of damage because when you hit a champion with this ability or an enemy, it reduces your ability cooldowns by 1.5 seconds. So if it's a 3-second cooldown, it's a 1.5 second cooldown if you hit something. Okay, very, very, very important to not miss. So if I say don't press Q, when are you supposed to hit your enemy with the Q button? It's when you know exactly what they're gonna do next. Okay, say for example, I know for a fact Caitlyn is going to Q me, then I can Q her. I know for a fact that Talon is gonna jump over the wall. I can Q him. Okay, I know for a fact that this guy is running away in a straight line and he's gonna hug this wall. Boom. Okay, we hit him there. Okay, you need to know the secret to hitting skill shots on Ezreal is that you need to know what your opponent is doing. Otherwise, you will not hit them. In the game example I have for you that I will show you later, we were unable to hit our opponents when we didn't predict what they were going to do. And they were bronze players, and I'm a grandmaster player, right? So it's only when I started predicting what they were going to do that we started hitting them. Okay, so the same is it's gonna be the same with your W and your R, but you need to know what your opponents are going to do if you want to hit these abilities. Or you can just hit them on CC as well, combo with teammates. Now, second ability is your W. This is a huge part of your burst combo. This is where most of Ezreal's burst comes from. If a lot of your sustained damage comes from your Q, which does physical damage, a lot of your burst damage comes from your W, which does magic damage. And if you use this ability and you proc it, right now it doesn't actually do any damage by itself, but if you hit them with any ability, could be Q, could be E, it will blow up this essence flux, and you will actually get your mana refunded plus 10 mana. Okay, so is your bread and butter trading combo in lane because it cannot be blocked by minions. I can't show you here because there are no minions, but it cannot be blocked by minions, and you usually proc it with E, auto, Q, or R. I mean, there's uses for everything. Okay, so so I would suggest you hold your W until you want to burst someone, and missing it is actually pretty bad because it has a kind of a long-ish cooldown. I know it doesn't seem long, but trust me, with Ezreal, missing something is very bad. Okay, so again, with skill shots, you want to know what your opponent's going to do, then you can hit him with the ability. I would say you should always look for Q first and then W. Also, a tip for using Q. You guys are wondering, okay, I have the auto attack and I have the Q. When do I do this stuff? The best way to start out is always Q first. with a lot of champions, you want to auto tag and then press an ability to auto cancel, right? You save some time. With Ezreal, hitting the skill shot is the most important thing. So you should Q first, then auto attack, in my opinion. Okay, I would say you guys should start out with always ability first, then auto attack. Okay, ability first, then auto attack, like that. Okay, auto plus Q, you will actually have a chance to miss because by the time you've auto attacked, they might change what they're doing. Okay, so always use ability first, W auto, Q auto. Okay, so the next ability is your E. This damage is a blink, basically a free flash, and it attacks the closest thing to your blink location. Okay, so if I put an enemy here and I blink here, it will target the closest enemy. And now this ability by itself does not do damage until you hit this Muramana spike, and then it starts doing a good amount of burst damage onto a squishy target. I know it doesn't seem like it here, but trust me, it does do a lot of relevant single target damage. Okay, so when you use your E offensively, you do want to hit this you do want to hit the target you're trying to kill. So for example, if I'm fighting here and there's like a tank in front, let's say this is the tank, okay, and I want to E past so I can target this dummy with my E, and also pseudo guarantee a Q because I'm melee range, right? Now this E, okay, you actually can combine it with flash. We'll get the flash ideas later, but you can flash. This ability has a channel time. So let's say, for example, if Blitz hooks you, you can actually E right before the hook lands and get out of the hook, so to speak. It works for pretty much all CC. And you can also flash while you are channeling your E. So for example, if I E here and I flash to this bush, what Ezreal will do, he will flash first and then E. Okay? So I'm going to do this. Like that. He's going to flash first and he's E. So you can extend the range of your E because remember, he's going to flash first and then E. So it's going to look like this. Okay? And so why is this trick useful? Because again, you can all in someone in the backline or someone who's far away, and you can pseudo guarantee a skill shot, mainly your Q, like this. Okay? Now, ulti, global skill shot that does a massive amount of damage. It does 50% less damage to minions and non-epic jungle, and I believe there's no fall off when you hit multiple champions anymore, so hitting a bunch of champions in a row is very nice. The tip for here is you want to ulti when they are CC'd, because it is global. You can fire it from wherever. So imagine Morgana hits bind, immediately press R, right? E flash Q, something like that, okay? But yeah, we immediately want to R on CC, and you don't necessarily want to target the biggest clump. I want you guys to pick a specific person, usually a carry role, okay? This could be the ADC or whatever. I see like a big clump like this, don't get confused, okay? You're like, oh, let's hit everybody, okay? Oftentimes what will happen is that you hit nobody, okay? I want you to be like, okay, I want to hit this guy in particular, this guy right here, okay, I'm going to hit him. Okay, that's what I want you guys to do. Or I want to hit this guy back here, okay? I want you to target a specific person, okay? Very important. Now, let's talk about flash usage with Ezreal. I think that if you guys want to train your mechanics with Ezreal, you should know how to use flash offensively, because all of his abilities are skill shot based, but you can pseudo guarantee everything with flash or going into melee range with your E. So, right, hitting this guy is really hard, but if you E melee range and Q directly on top of them, you pretty much cannot miss unless they predict you, right? Which they usually will not, okay? So, you Eing into melee range is very important, but that also means if you can E into melee range to pseudo guarantee a skill shot, you can flash into melee range to pseudo guarantee a skill shot. Like this, right? Like this. W flash, Q flash, and R flash. Okay, those are the three, and also E flash. Okay, you can actually offensively use flash in combination with any of Ezreal's abilities. Okay, which one do I pick? Okay, burst combo. You want to hit the burst combo, W flash, because now that they have the ring on them, they have the essence flex on them. You can proc it with your E, and then pseudo guarantee with Q. So for example, if this guy is far away, I can W flash, E melee range Q, and that's almost guaranteeing all my hits, right? If someone is within Q lethal range, you can just Q flash simply. Or let's say, for example, you need to dodge something, you can flash as well. And we should also talk about direction. What happens when you use flash with these abilities? Of course, you can go in a straight line to gap close like this. okay? But the way it works if you flash not in a straight line is that the skill shot will come out of the spot you flash to, okay? So if I flash to this bush and I Q this dummy, the order of operations is Q first and then flash mid-Q animation. The Q will come out of the bush like that towards your cursor, okay? So if my cursor is on the dummy, it will shoot a line between where I flash to and the dummy. Now, if you shoot behind this dummy, if you aim behind this dummy and you flash, you will actually aim at that spot. So be very careful when you use this, okay? Q flash sideways is very good. Just make sure you're clicking directly on the target. You want to practice this, move your cursor onto the target, Q, and then flash to the spot you want to go to, okay? That's what I would do if I was to practice Q flash, okay? Or you can just Q flash forward. It's super easy, okay? And you just want to use the practice tool to practice the timing here, where the Q, you don't have to play around with how long do you have before the Q goes off. You actually don't have that much time, so I would recommend Q flash immediately, right? You pretty much can't mess it up. There's no like input buffer shenanigans, so yeah, you can't mess it up. Now W flash works the exact same way as Q flash, okay? It will come out of the spot you flash to, okay? The exact same way. E flash we already talked about. You will flash and then E, right? So something funny you can do is like you can do like this, right? Think of it as like a flash then E, right? So if I want to flash over this wall, I could do E flash, right? Sorry, if I want to E over the wall, I could E flash, right? Like same thing here, like that. And then another spicy one is you can like ER flash. Oh, sorry. You can E over and flash down. See if I can, if you do it correctly, like that, right? You can do some hocus pocus shit. But yeah, don't worry about that. But that is actually quite an effective play if you didn't know, because it gets the whole. If you can do that, it gets the whole team to look at you. The dragon's kind of bothering us, so let's move over here. So what I was talking about there is, oh yeah, R flash. We didn't talk about R flash. That's why you guys are probably confused. Ulti does not work the same as Q flash or W flash. Sorry, I did that incorrectly there. If you do it too slow, your skill shot will come out your original location. R flash works where when you press R, it's coming from the spot you ultied from no matter what. I don't care where you flash, it's not going to come up from that spot. So if I ulti from this plant and I fire this way and I flash this, it's not going to change the angle. It's going to come from the spot I fired it in, okay? It's not going to change the angle at all, okay? So very, 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 very useful, probably top 3 useful Ezreal mechanics to know is R flash, because when the entire enemy team is chasing you, R flash will hit everybody. And how do you get the entire enemy team to look at you? You E forward, you pseudo guarantee your Q because you're close range, and then you R flash. And in fact, you can do something like use everything. Oops, sorry. You can also R flash forward, but I didn't mean to do that. You can do something like E forward, Q, W, R flash. Okay, a lot of really cool things you can do with Ezreal. So I recommend you guys learn how to use your flash as an offensive tool with Ezreal. Okay, so to recap, Q first. Only use Q when you know exactly what they're gonna do, whether it's last hitting, chasing, using ability, whatever. Q first, then auto. Use your W when you're ready to burst someone, you're trying to one-shot someone, and proc it with your E, or WQ, or WR. And then for E, I want you to use it to dodge an ability, or to kill someone. Okay, those 90% of the time, dodge an ability, or kill someone. If you're an intermediate player or advanced player, you can use your E to trade in lane, if you know what you're doing, or use your E as a bait tool to make the enemy think you have no escape left, and then you R flash. Last but not least is your ulti as your global. For now, you guys should just use it to hit the carry that you want to hit. Yes, global ulti to snipe someone in a bush is very good. Doesn't really need any explanation. When they're low, you try and go for a snipe. But in general, hold the ulti until you can target a carry that you want to hit, usually CC'd by your teammates, okay? So let's say, for example, this guy got hit by a long-range Morgana bind. I can WR from a distance and almost one-shot this guy. If it's not enough, I can E4Q, finish the job, okay? Now, those are all the main mechanics you need to know for Ezreal. There's some other, like, gimmicky shenanigan stuff, like, for example, if you E to a spot and it hits somebody, your cursor is actually auto-aimed towards that person. So you can actually press Q. I'm not moving. You can see my hand right here. I'm not moving anything, right? I'll move my hand again. The Ezreal guy will auto-target because the mouse is exactly 1 pixel between Ezreal and the E target. So you can just go like that. Okay, you don't do it. You can actually just auto aim, but it's actually not that useful. Okay, going like this, it's not that useful. Trust me. Like for example, if you accidentally move your mouse, it's like completely fucked. And if you try and E out of range, you see where my mouse is now, where Ezreal is. If you're not using your E, if you're using your E at max range, it's not gonna work. Okay, I would not really worry about this trick, but it's just fun to do. And if you know any other Ezreal mechanical tips and tricks, let me know in the comments below. Share with the class. Okay, so now that you know how to do the Ezreal mechanics, let's actually go through an entire game to show you how to carry with Ezreal in Low Elo. Okay, as we're starting this game, I want to talk a little bit about the idea of ADC and Low Elo, because I have noticed after playing a few games in Low Elo that there is one important thing that pretty much nobody is doing in these games, okay? And the thing that you guys are not doing is that you are not focusing on the most important thing an ADC needs to do. The most important thing an ADC needs to do is to gather resources. It's resource collection. Why? Because without money, without gold, you cannot buy items. Without items, you cannot impact the game. You'll notice that if you're playing ADC and Low Elo, you walk around, everyone two-shots you, you're like, dude, this role sucks. I can't fucking do anything. You're correct. You cannot do anything until you have items. Very, 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 very important. Your main focus in these games is how can I maximize economy? Okay? So that's our, if you watch this replay, that is pretty much the only thing I focused on. I'm not going to do anything too crazy mechanical. In fact, I don't even use half the tricks I showed you guys in the mechanics part of the video. I am just simply making sure that the only thing I want to do is gather resources. Okay? And all my habits, all my decision making revolves around gathering resources and thinking about how can the enemy deny me resources? Okay, as we start in the lane, we started in the closest bush, so we can try and cheese them. But you'll see that my Morgana is doing something crazy, where she tries to all-in after hitting a bind. Remember that in a 2v2 all-in, you want to focus the ADC. So the instant that Jinx starts hitting Morgana, I start hitting Jinx to make her back off. But if you didn't know that, now you do. 2v2 all-in must focus ADC or you will lose. Okay, the only time you can focus the support is when you can get away with it, which is basically one-shot them without the enemy ADC hitting you. Now you can do some cheesy stuff like sit in these bushes, level 1, and try and poke them again to lane. You'll notice that I'm focusing on making sure I try to contest level 2, but if they hit level 2 first, that's okay. We just make sure we're playing safe. I'm not doing anything crazy. If there's another thing you guys need to know for, this is going to be like an Ezreal video. Okay, I kind of got hit by that Rakan ability, but this is an example where we can aim the support because he kind of killed himself, right? So we just there is no way Jinx can kill me there. I can full damage Rakan and see what happens, which is exactly what I did. And then after you win a fight, you want to crash and go home. Otherwise, you're gonna have issues. Okay, so you see like Morgana's chasing this guy. We don't care after she misses bind. We just need to kill all the minions and then go and spend our money. Why? Because Rakan is coming back with full health, and imagine the enemy jungle with Rakan being full health. You guys will not be able to breathe. You need to go home after you win a fight so that you can spend your money and come back with full resources. So after this cannon wave, I'm planning to go home. Anyways, I can't remember what I was talking about, but yeah, 2v2 all in. Oh yeah, and then this is not a lane guide, but for lane basics, if you guys don't know how I teach laning phase, is you should always focus on what both supports are good at, because they dictate the laning phase, right? So you want to ask yourself, okay, what is the enemy support good at? And you want to avoid that. So let's say Rakan is good at, he's trying to heal his ADC by hitting his Q, and then he can catch people with his W, okay? And so his game plan is find really good trades with his W into Q. And then what is your support good at? Morgana pretty much can only hit the bind, and that can be basically bind for poke, or it could be bind into like an all-in angle. So our side is playing for bind into a good fight. Okay, so now that you know what both sides want, then you apply the idea of 2v2 focused ADC. So whoever is aiming the ADC successfully is gonna win. In our case, Rakan W'd me, but I was very safe with my E, and I had both sums, so it was not a successful all-in. And then Morgana hit a bind, but it wasn't on Jinx, but I could get away with killing Rakan. Okay, so whoever applies this matchup idea to the ADC is going to come out on top, usually speaking. Okay, so for example, let's say I have a Nami and I want to trade. Then when Nami gives me buffs, I'm going to W Jinx E into her auto attack, run away, because we want to trade and we want to not get hit by the Rakan W, right? So okay, and other things you need to know for laning phase. It is a cardinal sin to die to the enemy jungle. You should just immediately uninstall an FF if you die to enemy jungle, because it is extremely bad. Of course, there are times where it's not preventable, or it's not that bad because you guys get the kill or something. But just know that you should not die to the enemy jungle for free. Everything you do should be in relation to the map. Okay, Rakan's going for a W there, but I was prepared with my E. Remember, use your E to dodge spells or kill someone. Dodge spells, stay alive, kill someone. Okay, those are the main uses of your E. Okay, that's how you get high value. And then we spotted the enemy jungle, so we're going to clear these minions very safely. You'll notice in this replay, you guys might be asking, oh my god, what do I do? My support steals all my CS. This Morgana's maxing W. She's going to steal a bunch of waves from me. So, yeah. Here, we saw that the enemy Yi was trying to do the dragon, so we went to investigate, and then our jungle decides to stick the dragon. So I'm like, okay, I guess we have to help this. You just do your best in these kinds of situations. Just make sure you know what you are looking for. You want to auto attack until you can find a good Q angle. And I saw that Master Yi committed to auto attacking Kayn, so I started using skill shots. And then once I realized we can't win the fight because Jinx has a reset, then I'm out of here. Okay, not every fight is winnable. You need to make sure that your main goal is resource collection. If I have a pitched fight there, can I get the next wave? There is no way that if I fight that Jinx to the death, I can get the next wave, right? There's just no way. So we need to preserve our HP because we want to play for the wave. This is the most important thing you need to remember when you're playing ADC. Everything is about gathering resources. You notice here I missed a few Qs. It's because I have no idea what this Rakan wants to do. So when I shoot Q at him, there's no way I can hit him. Remember, these guys are bronze, so even I cannot hit them if I don't know what they're going to do. But, oh, wow, that was, I made a crazy mistake there. Let's pretend you didn't see that. That was super boosted. But here, make sure that you don't stay next to the tower to give her a splash auto attack either. That was crazy. Huge int by me, but you can see what I do after a mistake. I need to, remember, it's all about resource collection. I'm going to do my best to get all these minions. This is the most important part, okay? If you die and you lost 0 CS, that's probably fine. If you die and you lose 10 CS, you probably lost the laning phase, okay? So it's very important you resource collect. And then they should be crashing here, but instead they based, and I am going to crash here. I'm going to make sure I get all these minions. If you can't get these minions, it's okay, but do your damned best to get every single wave, okay? Especially in this elo, where your supports will literally steal your waves. Now you see here that we are based and we are buying the Sheen. I did not know the at the time of filming. I forgot about the glowing mode / dagger thing. But longsword is not bad. But you could glowing mode / sorry, longsword is not as good because you get the adaptive force by buying a dagger or a glowing mote. But yeah, I bought a longsword on my first base. But here we're building the Sheen, and then now we're building towards Trinity components. You notice about 2 longswords to maximize my AD, maximize our pushing power and our fighting power. So yeah. Now my mindset here is I see enemy Rakan on top, which means we should try and fight Jinx. But obviously you don't want to die to Yi, right? Okay, just know the general idea is, oh, we saw Yi as well top. Just know that the general idea is what you want to do. I want to resource collect. I want to get the wave. And then what are they doing while you're resource collecting? They're playing top. Therefore, after resource collecting, what do we do? And then what do we do after killing the wave? We want to fight the Jinx because we have mana advantage. So you see me aggressively trying to trade here into the Jinx. I missed my ulti because I did not know where she was walking to. But you'll notice I did the E into her face Q, pseudo guarantee Q trick. Okay, the first mechanical trick we used so far in this game. And because of that, we were able to get an HP diff on the Jinx because she didn't know she was supposed to not trade, right? Because she's man disadvantage. And then because of that, she loses resources. Remember, ADC, if you want to put pressure on the enemy ADC, It is how can I prevent them from getting resources? You know, when they win the last state, you can try and poke them. Or especially if their support roam / their jungle shows topside, you can try and make something happen, right? And then how can I get my resources? Okay, so here the Jinx based. So naturally we would want to base after pushing this cannon, but since we're so healthy, we can stay. Right, we are in such a good position we can stay. So I decided to stay here while my Morgana roams. That's okay. I do want this play here. Remember, it's all about resource collection. So I'm standing here not just to poke him, but I really want this plate. So I'm just chilling here. But if I can't get the plate, that's okay. Don't force it. Okay, you're not gonna E in suicide for the plate, whatever. You're just here for it. See if you can get a freebie plate. Okay. Again, we go back to pushing the wave. You guys might be wondering, okay, why are we pushing so much? Guys, pushing is winning. You need to make sure you push so that you can impact the map. Here, my Morgana is dying, but like, I don't know what she's doing. But remember, resource collection. She's dying while I'm getting the wave, finish the wave. Okay, and if they are not resource collecting, you see that, you notice the Jinx went to fight instead of resource collection. She is down 30 CS now. Okay, just from me focusing purely on getting my waves, and then seeing what the enemy support jungle do, so I can determine what I'm supposed to do. In this case, my Morgana is dead, so I'm just waiting for them to push so I can get the wave. Sorry, I had to drink water there. Notice how I hit the Jinx because she was running towards me. I knew what she wanted, then I could hit the Q and then W auto attack. And then this dragon fight's happening. Usually we push the cannon, but this fight is happening right now. We need to go right now. You cannot, here's a tip. If it's a cannon wave, you should just ditch it because it takes too long to push. And if you crash it, it's actually possible that they can finish the fight and go pick up the cannon wave, right? But if it's a normal wave, I would highly consider just immediately pushing the normal wave to make Jinx lose a wave. So there we went to assist with the fight. And then after the fight is over, resource collection. And then after resource collection, we go home. Okay, because hitting this plate takes way too long, and then we also need to spend our money, and we have no mana. So if you don't go home now, you're never going home. Think about it that way. Do not grief your base for a plate as a general rule of thumb. Okay, if you need to go home and you can take a plate, just go home. That's okay. Here I buy the Trinity components, and then we come back to lane. You'll notice that we are already doing super well. We have about 100 CS at 11 minutes. You're about to see, I think you're about to see Morgana jack some CS. Okay, not yet. But yeah, supports in this elo, I noticed, don't actually support. They actually waste time killing your waves. It's actually a double mistake where they take your waves, preventing you from being able to resource collect. And then they also are spending time doing that so they're not helping the team. So here you'll notice I did the second, my second mechanic comes at 12 minutes. Okay, I W flashed to guarantee the W because Jinx was bound by my teammate. That's when you can land the important abilities. And remember, what do we say about W? We use W when we want to burst someone. So I wanted to burst the Jinx, W flash instead of Q flash. Okay, the Q can come after. W is more important to land. Especially because when you W put on cooldown, and if you hit a Q after, it reduces your W cooldown. There I had a late reaction to the Rakan W. It's a bit unfortunate. But again, all I'm doing is focusing on resource collection, right? So the instant, we got away from the Rakan, I'm instantly going back to killing the minions. This is the most important thing. I think that if you learn anything from watching this replay today, it's must resource collect. There on bind, I threw all my skill shots. I went for W first into R. Remember, W is the first thing you need to land. Here, I actually WE, but I actually missed the timing for it. That's unfortunate. But yeah, we want to capitalize off our support hitting an ability. How did we help Morgana hit that ability? We were constantly pushing. The side that is pushing can land the skill shots easier because the side that's getting pushed in has to resource collect. They have to kill the minions. As they're killing the minions, they are vulnerable to getting hit. Okay, so here I go home, and we are buying the Trinity. Remember, after you get the tower, you want to swap with your teammates. You guys always say, what do I do if my teammates don't swap with me? I'm not going to lie. Every single game, the teammate has swapped with me. I don't know what it is, but I suspect you guys are not aggressive enough in taking your lane. I'm just immediately going mid. Okay, but let's say Veigar refuses to leave. Oh, Yasuo's fighting on my timer to come mid, which is pretty good. So here we take a fight. I am missing some abilities, but again, you try your best to hit Q first, then auto attack. Okay, so what you see here is me trying to Q first, then auto attack, me trying to W first, then auto attack, and I don't use E at all until he's trying to run away or if I have to dodge an ability. But yeah, Veigar has the base because he's low, and then Veigar naturally goes bot because he wants the CS, right? That's kind of how it works. But if he ran towards mid here, I would go bot. Okay, I would take the mid wave and then go bot, or yeah. So here we hit the tower, but you don't have to hit the tower here if you think you're going to die to a gank. Most important thing, again, is getting the minions. Do not hit the mid tower and die and sacrifice your ability to get the minions, okay? Like here, for example, I was almost dying to Yi because I was not ready. After Q, we're going to E. He suicide to kill me. So dying like this is fine. Remember, you are not worth as much as the jungler. It's just in this case, I had a shutdown, so it was actually a good play by him. Like I said, hitting the tower is generally speaking not good. Okay, I want you to think hitting the tower is akin to starting the dragon. It's akin to starting the Rift Herald. The tower is an objective. Okay, you hit the tower, you start an objective. Because of that, I actually lost an entire wave. I would not recommend ulting like this, but I thought Kayn was going to kill someone, so I wanted an assist. I think I hit the recon, but he doesn't die. That's unfortunate. But yeah, do not just hit the tower for fun. You will get engaged on, and you will die unless you have a plan for it, like preparing your flash. Your teammates are nearby, so you're baiting for them. Or you see the enemy team diving your bot side or something. I don't know. But you can't just hit the tower for fun like I did. Like low-key, that was not really good. I gave Yi a huge shutdown. If I was like a 0-0-0 ADC and we traded kills, that's like fine, right? But yeah, I had a shutdown, so I shouldn't have done that. Okay, resource collection. I got the tower. What do I want to do next? I want to get the wave. After you get the wave, we're in the mid-game. You might be wondering, okay, I mean, it's resource collection. Get the waves, get the waves, get the waves. How do we play the rest of the game? So after you get the wave, play the side of the objective. So you see here, after we get mid-wave, where are we going to go? Are we going to go top to play with Poppy in the top tower, or are we going to play the dragon? Spoilers, we're playing the dragon because dragon stacking wins games. The quickest, most reliable way to win a game is to stack all the dragons, in my opinion. In my opinion. Or play for a team's win condition, like Giga Split Push Gwen, or late game Caitlyn, or whatever. But generally speaking, it's very hard to throw Soul. Okay, you can throw Baron, the whole team can die or something stupid. You can throw Otacon, I don't even know if that thing does anything anymore. You cannot throw Soul. It is, I have, the amount of times I've seen a team with Soul lose is like once in the last month, okay? I don't know about you guys, but Soul is super important. It also applies so much pressure to the enemy team. If you have 3 dragons, Baron and Soul are coming up at the same time, you can just get Soul and win the game while the enemy team does Baron. I mean, this is fine. You can trade. Or you have 3 dragons, and the next 1 minute, in the next 1 minute, dragon spawns, the Soul spawns. Enemy team does something stupid, game's over because you got the Soul, right? Someone gets caught, instantly GG. Okay, Soul, dragon stacking, very important. After getting the mid-wave, play towards the side with the objective. If for whatever reason you cannot get the mid-wave first, that's okay. Get the mid-wave second. The worst thing you can do is not get the mid-wave. And the trick to getting every single mid-wave is, you see I was pointing over there, is when the minions leave your inhibitor tower area, you must be on your way mid or give up the wave. So you see a fight is literally breaking out topside. I don't give a fuck. I am going to get my wave and then I'm going to move. Remember, moving comes after getting the wave. Here I'm trying to fight this Jinx because I think we have hit our 2-item spike. We just realized we are Mana Immune Trinity. We can start looking to do good trades when enemy ADC tries to resource collect. So see here, she's trying to resource collect, and then I am just trying to harass her. I'm not actually trying to kill her, but because I know she's trying to kill the minions, I end up hitting skill shots on her, and then we kill her, okay? So this is just the how we got to this point is basically, did you collect all the resources and stack your tiers, so you have 2-item spike. Then with your spikes, are you playing to prevent them from getting resources? That's basically it. Okay, that's basically it. You can hit the skill shots when you know what they are going to do. So I know Jinx wants to hit the minions, right? Then I can throw the skill shots, which was basically the ulti. After winning a fight, we go home. After we go home, we do the exact same thing, guys. This is the gameplay loop. Get the mid wave, look to do something, get the mid wave. Okay, you get the mid wave, look to fight. That's fine. Go back to getting the mid wave. If you get the mid wave and you're going to a fight and then you realize it's going to be shit, then go back to getting the mid wave. Okay, the thing I see most of you guys, the biggest mistake I see most of you guys do is that you get the mid wave, you move, and then don't go back to the mid wave. Here you can see me doing chickens because Morgana stole my wave. That happens a few times in this game, so that's why I'm not 10 CS a minute. You saw the Morgana like farm the entire wave. That's why I did the chickens, and my jungle was dead, so he wasn't doing chickens either. So yeah, that's why I farmed the chickens there. But after we get the wave, then we can do something. So the something here I pick is the red buff, and then I go back to the mid wave. Okay. I I was trying to get the red buff, but then I see Garen. I try and steal this thing from Garen. Doesn't work. Remember, go back to the mid wave. Right. I'm not trying to fight. I'm not trying to fight Rakan. I'm really not trying to do anything except maximize resource collection. Okay. Very, very simple concept. Simple but effective concept you should do every single game. Remember, the mechanics I use this game, I've only used Ezreal Mechanics like 3 times. Okay. It was like W flash to combo off Jinx being CC'd, and then it was like there was some others, but it only happened like 3 times. Okay. Okay, here Yi wanted the crab, so I could hit him. I'm just hitting him with Qs. Okay, we E to pseudo guarantee Q, then W auto attack, right, to burst. And then we need to go get mid wave. After the fight is over, go get mid wave. Yeah, don't chase this guy. He's worthless, right? Get the mid wave. After mid wave, we look for objective. It's the same goddamn pattern over and over again. League of Legends is a very pattern-based game. Here I know Jinx wants to wave again, so that's why I'm fighting her. And then we can look for R here. And then we're so strong that we basically end up killing both. But again, when you are strong, when you have been resource collecting, you can look to play through mid with your spikes. Let's say we're playing Jinx and we're strong with Yunta IE LDR maybe. I could get the wave mid and look for a zap play. Oh, interesting here. I do wolves here because we're in resource collection mode. Does that mid inhib tower give us money? Hell no. It does not. Mid inhib tower is probably like one of the worst. It's barely an objective. It's not that good. Okay, so here I would rather do the 2 camps than do the mid tower. And then I think Morgana is trying to jack another wave, which is crazy. Oh my god, please, bro. Please, bro. Okay, whatever. It's fine. I got the cannon. And then here, after we get the wave, we can go and look to side. But spoilers, I don't make this in time. I just go back mid, right? Remember, when the minions are passing the mid inhib tower, you see this? The mid inhib tower, that's when you need to start going back mid. So we went back mid, and we are playing to get the minions. And after the minions, we're going to go play the spawning objective, which is a dragon. Or you can play the Otacon, whatever your jungle decides. It's usually not up to you. But here, I end up basing on push because I have a full item in inventory. And then I think someone just randomly sends it on me. So you just do your best to fight it out here. It was just completely unexpected. I actually dodged everything. So yeah, I kind of got cooked there. But because I was ahead in levels from farming, I'm chilling. And Yi's also here too. That's crazy. You can also E over, use Ezreal E to create huge distance by Eing over walls. I don't think I mentioned that, but there you go. Yeah, I randomly died, but my team was right next to me, so they got the revenge. But yeah, and then we ended up getting the dragon. Okay, let's fast forward when I spawn. Spoilers, we keep doing the exact same thing. I'm up 60 CS, I'm up 3 levels. The game is basically done, all because the entire game, all I've been focusing on is killing minions. All my kills have come from trying to deny resources, or the enemy team is fighting my team and I kill them, or they're randomly all in engage me and I try and fight them off. Okay, that's where all my kills came from. Not a single time have I actively tried to kill anyone. I have tried to damage people, tried to put pressure on them, but I didn't go in with the intent of killing them. That's important. Okay. Here I'm just mid because I want to get the next wave. It's spoilers. It's always about the next wave, guys. I E forward for a big trade. You can see the WE combo I was telling you guys about. It does a lot of damage. I can look for an ulti here. E flash even, but like we don't care. Remember, if E flash suicide kill Jinx, if that's gonna compromise your resource gathering, don't do it. Okay. Here, after we push wave, we always say we can do something. So here, I'm going to go clear the pink. I'm going to do the red. And then we're going to play the Otacon. After the Otacon, we're going to go collect resources. It's the same thing over and over again. Like, League is all about patterns. So if you are not doing this pattern, you are not going to be able to carry every single game unless they spoon feed you 20 kills. Okay? And they are not normally going to spoon feed you 20 kills. Doing this is basically using your brain to do the heavy lifting to climb out of low elo. And it's not even that like crazy brain-wise. Like all I'm doing is focusing on getting the mid wave. The enemy team doesn't even know what I want. Unironically, they don't even know what I want. Okay, you guys now know what I want. I want to get every single goddamn wave mid, and then I'm gonna try and do something useful, and then I'm gonna get every single goddamn wave mid. So here we're trying to do something useful, but like this doesn't look that good. Okay, like I don't know what this is, but it doesn't look that good. So then I'm like, how do I help this? I don't know. And then I'm like, peace, bro. I'm gonna go get a wave. I don't know what this is, but okay. I mean, Yasuo sends it on me. You can use sums here. Ended up not using sums. Is this guy scripting? Bro, how is he dodging like that? Did you see that? Yo, after watching the VOD, I'm like, that Yasuo movement does not look human. But anyways, yeah, I don't know what that fight was, but if you're completely unsure, don't commit. Because by committing, you're like gonna grief your resource collection. This is basically the game over. Okay? We can fast forward a bit, but that's essentially the game. In terms of mechanics, I didn't do anything too crazy. Oh, here, I guess we can watch this, but I ended up kiting Garen. You want to know what your opponent wants. That's the first step to hitting skill shots, right? So I know Garen wants to ulti me, go melee range, so I'm going to kite him out, and I'm going to E over the wall, just like that. And then after E, I use Q, right? That's probably the best time to use Q is right after you E. Is after you reposition, they're probably going to chase you, right? So they have a split second where you can hit them. But yeah, and then we base. But that's basically the game. Okay, we fast forward here. We do some fun stuff like we're like pushing bot here. You should play Baron. This is another mechanic I use. Okay, Yi is engaging at E over the wall, and then at R flash when he chases me. I remember this. R flash, that's a good trick. E over, dead. Okay, so we did use. I mean, this is by this point this game's already over. So like that was just kind of fluff, right? But I think we only used Ezreal, like the Ezreal mechanics I showed you in the practice tour, like maybe like 5 times. Okay, and the rest of it was knowing what I wanted to do, which is get every single wave, and then with those waves, then you buy the items. With the items, then you start using the mechanics. Okay, so we fast forward here. We get the soul, we get the Baron, and then we end the game, and that's it. Okay, very very simple, in complete control the entire time. All I focused on was making sure that I got every single wave, and if the enemy ADC does not know this or is not as good at resource collection as you are, you will have an item advantage, and with that item advantage, you will be able to make plays and impact the game. Okay, so that's basically how you carry in low elo with Ezreal. You can do this, what I just did, every single game. I promise you. Okay. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed / learned something. If you did, let me know in the comments below what you thought was most useful. If you want to see other video ideas, also let me know. I guess other outro stuff, like if you want to support this kind of content, please watch my stream at twitch.tv/xFSN Saber, and or support me on Patreon. Link is in the description below. But anyways, love you guys. Hope this helped, and I will see you guys next time.